John Myatt, The Art of Forgery. Techniques, Recipes, and Stylistic Secrets. John Myatt, 1945-present, one of the most notorious art forgers of the 20th century, made his mark by creating genuine fakes of modern masters. His ability to replicate the techniques and styles of artists such as Picasso, Matisse, and Monet fooled many experts and collectors for nearly a decade. Myatt's forgeries went beyond mere imitation. They captured the essence and spirit of the originals, making them pass as authentic masterpieces. To understand how Myatt was able to fool the art world, we must explore his artistic methods, the materials he used, and the secrets behind his successful forgeries. This narrative is sponsored by Polly Speaks For You. The creator of Polly Speaks For You has always been passionate about empowering individuals, especially those with disabilities or learning challenges, through text-to-speech and voice recognition technology. Polly Speaks For You isn't just a tool. It's a bridge for people to communicate and interact with the world in a meaningful way. By blending historical storytelling with cutting-edge tech, the creator showcases how powerful a voice can be, whether telling your own story or preserving history. So hit that like, share, and subscribe button and help this channel grow. Now back to the story. 1. Color, precision, and adaptation. Myatt's color use was key to his forgeries. Like the masters he imitated, he understood how subtle variations in hue and tone could evoke the signature style of an artist. Myatt adapted his palette to suit the artist he was copying, paying close attention to color theory and historical accuracy. Myatt's approach to color. Reproducing historical palettes. Myatt studied the color palettes used by artists in different periods, ensuring his forgeries remained faithful to the time. For example, when copying impressionists like Monet, Myatt employed bright, light-reflecting pigments to emulate the vibrant, outdoor scenes typical of the movement. Subtle variations. Myatt mastered the ability to introduce just enough variation in his hues to create depth while maintaining the overall harmony of the painting. This delicate balance helped his forgeries appear authentic, as the colors blended naturally within the composition. Aging techniques. To enhance the credibility of his works, Myatt often used a variety of techniques to make the colors appear aged, as if they had been painted decades earlier. He applied patinas and varnishes to replicate the yellowing or fading often seen in older paintings. Tips for achieving Myatt's color effects. Study the original palette. If you are copying a particular artist's work, research the pigments and colors they used. Aim to replicate these colors as closely as possible by using modern equivalents. Layering colors. Just as Myatt did, build up layers of paint to create depth and luminosity. Thin washes of color can help replicate the subtle tonal shifts seen in aged paintings. Use of varnish. Experiment with varnishes to achieve a sense of age or patina. This can give your painting an air of authenticity, making it appear as if it has stood the test of time. 2. Brushwork. Mimicking the master's hand. One of Myatt's greatest talents was his ability to mimic the brushstrokes and techniques of famous artists. His understanding of different brushwork styles allowed him to create forgeries that closely mirrored the originals. Techniques from Myatt's brushwork. Adaptation to the artist. Myatt would carefully study the brushstrokes of the artist he was copying. For example, when imitating Picasso, he used bold, angular lines to capture the artist's abstracted forms, while softer, more fluid strokes were employed for artists like Renoir. Repetitive practice. Myatt practiced the distinct brushstrokes of different artists to ensure that each stroke in his forgery matched the original artist's technique. This practice was key to making his forgeries believable. Strategic imperfection. While Myatt aimed for precision, he knew that imperfection was sometimes necessary. Artists often left traces of spontaneity in their work, and Myatt understood that a too perfect forgery might raise suspicion. By incorporating intentional irregularities in his brushwork, he gave his forgeries an air of authenticity. Recreating Myatt's brushwork. Study and imitate. Closely study the brushwork of the artist you want to imitate. Practice their style repeatedly until you can recreate it without hesitation. Imperfection for authenticity. Don't aim for perfection. Small, intentional deviations in your brushstrokes can add a level of authenticity to the work, making it appear more natural and less contrived. Vary brush size. Myatt used different brush sizes and shapes to replicate the specific techniques of different artists. Experiment with various tools to achieve the right texture and effect. 3. Materials, creative and cost-effective choices. Myatt was known for his unconventional use of materials, which helped him create convincing forgeries on a budget. He famously used household items and cheap alternatives to the high-quality pigments and canvases used by professional artists, but his ingenuity allowed him to replicate the appearance of more expensive materials. Myatt's tools and materials. Inexpensive paints. Myatt often used emulsion, paint mixed with KY jelly to replicate the look of oil paint. This allowed him to create thick, textured layers at a fraction of the cost of traditional oil paints. Household canvases. Instead of purchasing expensive artist-grade canvases, Myatt sometimes used ordinary materials, such as hardboard or cheap canvas, and treated them with gesso or primer to make them suitable for painting. Aging the canvas. Myatt also used techniques to age his canvases, such as lightly sanding the surface or applying tea or coffee stains, to make the painting appear older than it actually was. Myatt's palette. Mixing ordinary with extraordinary. Myatt's use of everyday materials was a hallmark of his forgery process. By combining unconventional materials with traditional techniques, he was able to create works that appeared genuine while cutting down on costs. Textured finishes. The thick, jelly-like medium Myatt used helped him create a textured surface that mimicked the impasto techniques of artists like Van Gogh or Monet, adding authenticity to his forgeries. 4. Capturing the essence of the original artist. The final step in Myatt's process was capturing the essence and spirit of the original artist. It was not enough to merely copy a painting. Myatt had to convey the same emotional or intellectual depth as the artist he was imitating. This required a deep understanding of the artist's intentions, mood, and approach to their work. Techniques for capturing emotion. Research and study. Myatt extensively researched the lives, philosophies, and techniques of the artists he copied. He tried to understand not only how they painted, but why they painted in a particular way, allowing him to channel their artistic vision into his forgeries. Mood and atmosphere. Myatt carefully recreated the mood of the original work, whether it was the somber tones of a Picasso portrait or the vibrant, joyful atmosphere of a Monet landscape. He adjusted his color palette, brushstrokes, and composition to reflect the emotional intensity of the original. Attention to detail. Myatt's forgeries often included minute details that made them convincing, such as the artist's signature brushstroke techniques or specific motifs that appeared in multiple works. These details helped give his forgeries an air of authenticity. Conclusion. John Myatt's forgeries were successful not just because of his technical skill, but because of his deep understanding of the artists he was imitating. His use of unconventional materials, mastery of color and brushwork, and ability to capture the emotional essence of a painting made his works convincing enough to fool experts. By studying Myatt's techniques, modern artists can learn how to adapt and replicate the styles of other artists while infusing their own creativity into the process. While forgery is illegal, Myatt's journey as an artist serves as a fascinating study in technique, craft, and artistic ingenuity. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. To learn more about South Africa's leading accessibility software, visit www.polispeaks4u.co.za and support this meaningful dyslexic initiative. Thank you for watching.